So when the Israelites were in Egypt in slavery, and Moses asked Pharaoh, "Let my people go," and Pharaoh wouldn't, he hardened his heart, God sent plagues to their land. The Israelites were spared, but the Egyptians were suffering under these great plagues. And then there was one final plague, Passover, when the angel of death came and the firstborn died in every family. The firstborn except for the faithful that had the blood of the lamb on their doorposts. And so finally Pharaoh relented and he told the people to leave. But even as they were leaving, he sent his chariots after them, and they came to the Red Sea, and it seemed like there was no escape. But God parted the Red Sea, and they crossed on dry land. And although they were disobedient in the wilderness for 40 years, God had made a promise that he would give them a promised land, and that Joshua would be the one to take them into the promised land. And so 40 years after Moses had passed, it was time for Joshua to lead the people into the promised land. And they would have to cross the river Jordan. And they had the Ark of the Covenant with them, and they had a multitude of people. But once again, God split the sea, and they crossed on dry land. And after they crossed, well, actually while they were in the middle, Joshua had them stop and pick up 12 stones to represent the 12 tribes of Israel. And when they crossed over into the promised land, he set the stones upon each other as a marker, as a reminder. So they would always remember that it was God who had taken them out of Egypt, who had saved them from the plagues, who had split the Red Sea, and the same thing going into the promised land. This was promised to them. And again, they had crossed on dry land. So I have a question for you. When we leave this land with the plagues, and we enter the promised land and life gets back to normal, what will we have set up as a reminder of God's goodness in this time? How will our children and generations to come look back on this time? What will be their markers? I ask you to join with me in Sunday school on Sundays. We are doing youth groups on Wednesday nights. But if there is something more that you need, please let me know. If you need a devotional, if you need a physical Bible, if you need questions just to start discussions at your house, just let me know. I want to partner with you in this. And I want us all to come out into the promised land and set up our markers so that our children can look back on this time and remember God's goodness in this time.